slot, and for this I welcome Aasim Shaik to address the audience on the topic Gaming and Digital Communities, Communication in the New Age. Aasim Shaik is the Managing Director of LPS Brands, which is our sponsor partner. Can we have a huge round of applause for Aasim?
Stop in my mind.
Hi everyone, pleasure being here, and it's quite insightful to go through the sessions today. Yeah. Now, I understand, I've been at a few gaming conferences at different parts of the world, and one thing which kind of struck me today was the fact that the audience profile keeps changing in different parts of the world, and there's a lot said about converting IP into games. There's a lot said about how do you go after play to earn opportunities, how do you get AI. But at the end of the day, if there are no real people doing it, then what's the point, right? So first thing, I just want to kind of get a feel of the space. How many of you guys are mobile gamers or just played mobile games or regularly play mobile games? Right? That's a few people, right? There's like 8 people. How many of you play PC gamers? Nice. So that's like 6 people out of a team, right? So let's start by acknowledging the fact that we don't know anything about gaming, right? So let's start with that, because at the end of the day, I think if you really want to understand opportunities in terms of business in gaming, you need to know what do gamers really want. Where are these communities getting formed? And I've built I would like to say in a very humble sense that I've kind of built a little tiny business for the last 10 years around communities, right? Communities which get formed in unlikely spaces. And gaming is one of them. I get immense joy when I see gamers who are taught in life as hopeless cases by their family, parents, and everyone. And I look at all of us logicalizing and trying to talk about gaming, right? So the world's come around, and I think one thing that I want to leave with you, if you want to be successful in a business like gaming, stop trying to second guess what's going to work. Find where these communities are and just try to support them, right? That's going to make a lot bigger impact than trying to second guess whether this technology is going to work. Try different things, find if real gamers like it, and then go after those opportunities. So what I'm going to try to do is try to, in the next, let's say 15 minutes, talk about how communities get formed in gaming, what are their characteristics, and how can you find opportunities there, right? So let me start that out, and a little bit about, I can do this, all right, cool. Yeah, okay. So a little bit about me before we start. Started an agency in 2014, and basically a born from social communications agency. We found our mojo in new age media. We started with short form videos, TikTok, Reels, and very soon became the campaign agency of the year in 2023. We're based in Dubai. That's where we're sort of headquartered. Some of the brands we work with: Dubai Chambers, Sony, Dolby, McDonald's, Virgin Megastore, TikTok. And in the last 2 years, the reason why you find me here is because I have a gaming marketing and game streaming communications firm, StreamStreak. That's another thing I couldn't find a lot, which is game streaming. I think game streaming is a huge opportunity, perhaps as or even bigger than gaming in itself. And then I also happen to work in a very exciting IT business in CXM implementation. Besides the fact that I'm an avid cyclist, I also balance my work as an entrepreneur with a 4-month-old. So that's agony, but it's wonderful agony. So gaming, as you would know, is a pandemic baby, right? Pandemic led to a surge in interest in gaming. You saw a lot of people who took to gaming and gravitated particularly towards digital games, right? What that meant is they shifted away from physical copies of games, right? So 26% downloads growth in digital gaming, and 45% female gamers, extremely important because our whole popular perception of gamers is very, very different, right? 45% female gamers, 70% casual gamers. So we're talking about people who never played games and who got into gaming. So very significant. Game streaming platforms like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook gaming, they saw exponential growth. I think Twitch goes through 90% growth year on year in the Middle East, which is crazy, right? Okay, this doesn't work, isn't it? I think we need some AI here. All right, cool. So let's see what are those community effects that we have to look at. Let me just go to this, yeah. Okay. I'll wait. I think I'm just sort of circling around. Okay, great, I'm here. So firstly, community building and social interaction. So when gamers started playing, they started forming groups, they started forming social connections, which were not on social media, the conventional social media. They saw that on chat streams, right? There were kids who finished school and they went, I'm sure some of your kids, and you don't even have an idea of it, they actually go on, play games and talk to each other on chat streams on games, right? And that has a higher engagement than any other Instagram or social media. The next thing is inclusivity. There's a very noticeable push towards a greater inclusivity and representation. So they advocated for more diverse characters, more storylines, right? And some of you guys already spoke about it. But this is a normal case universally. Everyone's looking to be represented in a certain game which they aspire to be a part of. And then streaming, as a result, was a snowballing effect of gaming. So you saw gaming happening. Game streaming took off. And why do people sit and watch 6 to 8 hours of someone else game streaming? There are multiple reasons to it, but one of the biggest reasons was they want to see how a professional, how a better gamer plays a certain game, what's their gameplay, and there's interesting entertainment which comes out of it. And I'll talk about that because gaming in itself is bigger than the movies and music business put together. And I'll talk about that. And then finally, something very novel, which is charity and fundraising events, also came through gaming. And what are some examples? I'm going to take you through some anecdotes. Now, this is very interesting. Travis Scott, do you guys know Travis Scott? Yeah, he's one of the biggest musicians in the world. He's a rapper, right? Travis Scott did his music event and Fortnite, right? This was literally a game-changing event because people realized how artists could go directly on platforms without having publishers or distribution to actually get to games, right? So 12.3 million players in this particular event, 27.7 million unique players attracted by the event across 5 live-in events. You had an average interaction of 12.3K people on Instagram when this was happening. And not to mention, it was pretty cool for him to sort of gross close to $20 million for the Fortnite concert appearance, right? Now that's big money. You don't need a Spotify to release music anymore. If you really take this into perspective, and this is going to happen a lot more. As these games become bigger and bigger, they become a part of the media business, they would want artists to launch music directly through them, right? And artists would go have more choices, so they end up going to a place where there's more bargaining power for them. So Fortnite recently has launched something called branded worlds. It's a new update. What they really do is you can create your own branded world on Fortnite Creative 2.0. Just like other social media platforms, they provide creator tools for you to create your own branded world. And once you do that, you can share that branded world with a unique code. So what that means is influential gamers on Fortnite almost become influencers. They can actually share codes with their entire community when they create a world like this. So think of influencer marketing, but in a gaming environment. And then finally, you can also publish this on Creative Discovery Hub, and over a period of time, you can also probably monetize it when other people purchase your branded world. So think of Shutterstock. You guys know Shutterstock, right? Shutterstock stock images. Imagine Shutterstock of gaming is something like this, where you actually have people buying your branded worlds when you make them. This is Minecraft. You guys know Minecraft? Everyone knows Minecraft. Great. So Minecraft probably is a great example of how education can be gamified, right? So Minecraft is basically a collaborative space for people to build things together. And through its gamification, this was a campaign which was done by Sunway Malls in the US, and what you really have is they were able to generate 120,000 visitors with 100 prizes, extremely high interaction when people actually decided to put two and two together, build customized properties for the Minecraft mall. Now, how does that help? Now, what's the impact on education from a Minecraft point of view? You have a very engaging virtual learning environment. Now, I would also suggest, I knew that we're talking about creating properties which was about a certain IP. It would be interesting to also look at how could that be a collaboration between something like a Minecraft, which already has a community there. And then there is also an aspect of it being having real world replication of scenarios. You can actually, let's say you want to actually build, let's say, I'm just saying, build a playground, right? If you want to do that, you could actually gamify it and understand people's behavior before you actually do it. For example, you are setting up a huge IKEA, right? Now, imagine before doing that, you actually give them a pilot layout of the store and ask people to rearrange it. That research is going to help you actually do that in real life by optimizing it. So there are various use cases that you could build around it. And then finally, it kind of, through Minecraft, you end up dissipating a lot of information which necessarily is not available in your formal education, which could be about digital literacy, adaptability, creativity, a lot of real-world vocational skills. This is my favorite, Fall Guys. Now, Fall Guys is a very fun, cute game, right? But you see, during the pandemic in particular, a lot of people started taking Fall Guys on streaming platforms, content creators. Numbers are astounding. So before pandemic and Twitch, and I know Twitch is not a very big platform yet here, YouTube is huge, Facebook gaming is huge, but on Twitch, before pandemic, there were only 100 streamers playing this game. After pandemic, 10,000 streamers. Average viewers, concurrent viewers was 1,000, it's become 100,000, 100 times, right? The same thing has happened in YouTube. The concurrent viewers has grown from 10,000 to 1 million viewers after pandemic. The concurrent viewers has grown from 100 to 10,000. So very, very, very interesting. Your games need not be complicated. Your games need to be sticky, right? It needs to be sticky, and how do you make them sticky? By trial and error, because you really can't second guess what people really want in life, right? This another thing is, this is an interesting phenomena. There are a large amount of people, and I'm sure we've tried to do that at some point of time, and we really get really good at a game. The competition is not about winning the game. The competition is how fast can you finish the game, right? So there's a speedrunning community where people actually compete to finish a game as quickly as possible through all its stages, right? And what they really do, and which is really nice about them, is they regularly host charity marathons to ensure that whoever wins events like this, they raise millions of dollars for charity, purely based on how quickly can people finish a certain game, right? So it's called a speedrunning community. Please look it up. Amazing community. Yeah, this is exciting. Roblox. Roblox is quite prevalent in India right now. And it started a beta version of immersive ads. So you can create an immersive ad that allows players to try on a new line of clothing or test drive a new car. So I think the initial phase has been that there are a lot of these companies who work with game developers or game ecosystems to create branded environments. I think all of that will go, and the games itself will start expanding on it. So they will provide creator tools to start doing this on their platforms. I think the next innovation is going to be if someone can crack interoperability between games, right? So if you can crack interoperability in terms of brands between games, and that becomes your properties, and you sort of integrate it. It's just like doing a video on Facebook and then video on Instagram and video on YouTube. If you can create that branded world which exists in gaming and that can sort of be interoperable, that's going to be exciting. Right? That's an interesting opportunity.
Sir, can you give some point a little bit more about that? You are saying you create one game in one platform, it should run in all other platforms.
No, I'm saying that within an existing game, if you can create a branded environment which can kind of be interoperable across different games, because each one has its own native, let's say native format, right? You would need the game can probably give you tools to create something from Roblox. The game can give you something to create something for Fortnite. But you would need an external player who could sort of nativize it across different games, because it also is a commercial decision for brands. They would not want to invest in each game, right? So how would you sort of reduce that commercial burden by bringing in a third party who can probably through technology or through creative tools and make it interoperable? So just some thoughts, Mecca for brands, gaming. One, strategic partnerships. What all can you do as brands on gaming? This is just a laundry list. There's one, strategic partnerships. You could sort of explore collaborations with esports tournaments, gaming events, and prominent streamers for authentic brand endorsements. This is probably the most straightforward one if you don't want to have very high stakes in the game. Next is innovative in-game advertising. I just spoke about it. How can you seamlessly integrate brand messaging with gaming? Gaming influencer management. How do you leverage gaming influencers? By the way, there are two different people. E-gamers, esports, professional gamers are very different from gaming influencers. People who are big on game streaming on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook may have big communities, but they're not professional gamers. Professional gamers may not be have big communities on game streaming. Two different people, all right? Now, so gaming influencers who have very big communities but may not be necessarily esports players, leverage them to create sponsored content that resonates. Yeah. And you'll have a lot more data there because they're already on social media, so they'll give you a lot more data for brands to work with. Exclusive branded virtual items. Exclusive branded virtual items like skins, fairly straightforward. KFC did this amazing campaign. So everyone knows that hands get messy when you eat KFC chicken, right? So they created a console skin which goes on your console, which actually they probably want you to enjoy your KFC, and it's an anti-mess console, right? So those are things, you don't need technology to build really good gaming campaigns. You just need culture, you need insights of the community. What do they feel like, you know? And then you're talking about esports team sponsorships. You see a lot of brands do that. It's huge investments. It's akin to sort of, let's say, an IPL team investment. Strategic social media, you can also create content which is appealing to gamers. It's a very different stream of content. It is going on the same platforms like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, but it looks very different. And then user-generated content, which is basically doing contests, encouraging gamers to create content. Philanthropic initiatives, you can also build, which I think a lot of it has been spoken about, branded mini games, immersive experiences. You also have, and this is a growing field, and this is something that we are in as Stream Shriek, and I'll speak about it, data analytics for targeted, personalized marketing. Imagine if you can combine gaming reach with numbers. How many people, which country, which state, what are their likes, what is their age group? I think that'd be very interesting at scale. And then finally, looking at VR and AR integration, that's something that everyone is fairly familiar with. So yeah, so what are we? So at the end of the day, I come from Stream Shriek. We are a specialist gaming communications outfit within LPS, which is the larger agency portfolio. We are built and founded with local GCC. GCC is the Gulf region streamers, and I'll talk about why GCC. GCC has a very high value streamer network, also powered by technology. So we have a streamer marketplace where we get game streamers and we get brands on the same marketplace, so that we can run very large scale creative campaigns of brands on thousands of streamers with millions of impressions, all with media precision. So I'm going to sort of take you through that.
So these are game streamers?
Game streamers, yes.
Even musicians?
You can do it with musicians, but we work primarily with game streamers. Yeah. A little bit of data on Middle East. I don't know how clear this is, but I'll try to make a little sense of this. By the way, just some numbers. Games in itself, $203 billion. Movies, 77 billion. Music, 26 billion. Gaming industry is far bigger than the music and movies industry put together. And why GCC? 20% of all gamers in the world reside in the Middle East. And when I say gamers, we're talking about gamers who are registered in platforms. Right? And then one of the only markets in the world where console gaming is bigger than mobile gaming, right? So extremely high value gamers, which is great for brands and companies, right? So yeah, some of the reasons why that's the reason why that Twitch has recorded a 95% year-on-year growth for Arabic streams. So that's why we start there. What do we really do? We have this S2 marketplace platform where we sort of have creatives of brands going in while the live gaming happens, devoid or independent of the support of the platform. So you could be on Twitch, YouTube, they don't get any revenue out of it. It's we who make the revenue, it's streamers who make the revenue, right? And we do this at scale. So it's impossible to get live streams and manually put creatives on thousands of live streams. It's impossible. So that's why you need technology for that. Technology enables that to happen, and it enables that to happen with the correct amount of streamers that you need, at what time do you need to put it, and also some very cool things that I'll show you. Just going to finish in 2 minutes. Yeah, so this is how it works, a very tactical level, hands and legs, but set up. So what we do is we sign up exclusive deals with streamers, right? We sign exclusive deals with streamers. We ensure we have access to their OBS through which they go live, and through which we install a widget, and through which we sort of play this live stream. Simple. But the actual manual operations of getting the streamers on board, the legal agreements, all of that is taken care by us. And what you really get is you get creatives like this as people go live. And this could be A/B tested creatives. You could run different creatives for different creators. You can run it with different frequency in 1 hour. You can also run it at different times. You can run it on different games. For example, you don't want to be on Valorant because it's extremely violent. You can choose not to do that. And I'll show you an interesting example of what we've done. This is the next level. What you really do is, for example, you're playing a game and at a certain stage you've lost. There is an ad which pops up saying you can probably refill your energy right now with a Red Bull, right? All of that is possible. Now that's purely based on combining the stream marketplace with image recognition, as obvious as it sounds. And one very important aspect is safety. I think gamers are not, very often gaming is misrepresented as just being something which is exclusively for kids, or is something which is exclusively to do with a metaverse experience only. I think gaming is all of that, but much more. So it's very important to have certain safety guards on everything that you do. So we've got 2 levels safety authority. We have got a manual intervention, but we also got an AI level safety, which is not enough in itself. But we also got, we've got a manual team sitting who actually checks which streamers and what kind of language are they using. So yeah, some quick looks, hyperview. So all our creatives are hyperviewable, 100% view through rate, high CTR. We also have a mechanism for a click through on the chat stream at the same time the creative is playing. So you can actually check how many clicks have happened as the ads are playing, right? 2-layered brand safety, I just spoke about it. It's extremely loved by streamers. Why is it loved by streamers? Today on a Twitch, in India, I don't think Twitch even has a support, which is unfortunate, but they don't provide support in any part of the world, and you end up getting peanuts even if you produce some great streaming content. In this kind of a solution, Twitch or YouTube gets nothing. Streamers end up getting 30 to 40% of all the money that they make, right? Which is a huge. So they end up becoming supporters of creatives, right? Rather than looking at it as disruptive, interruptive, and then it's unblockable. No one can use ad block for this, and that's another thing. So reporting is something which is also possible in a gaming environment with all these streamers. You're looking at, you can even get into performance monitoring, how many clicks have happened with different audiences, real-time statistics. You can also see which gamers have performed and incentivize them more, which games have performed and go after them much more. This is an example. This is a campaign that we ran for Mentos in FIFA, while FIFA 2022 was going on. So FIFA has extremely strict rules about advertising. When FIFA is going on, you can't mention World Cup, you can't mention football, because if you do it, then you're going to get sued, right? And that's the reality. So Mentos wanted to do a campaign without actually, wanted to associate with FIFA 22 without saying FIFA, saying football, saying World Cup. How do you do it? So we kind of ran a guerrilla campaign where on FIFA, because at the same time FIFA 22 was getting launched, and guess what? FIFA 22 actually had more viewership than the on-stadium FIFA happening, right? So we went to FIFA 22 specific game and started talking about football updates which are brought to you by mentors, right? There's no way anyone could detect it, and we were able to generate 20% share of voice digitally on the Football World Cup by not even getting associated with Football World Cup, right? So those are the kind of opportunities which exist. There are a lot of things which you can't say on social media for various reasons which you can hear, and those are some things which are great. So yeah, that's from me, and if you have a video, we can probably play that as well.
Sure.
67.4 million. That is the number of gamers in the MENA region. And who are the gamers of MENA? Is it Ahmed, who spends his evening streaming games and chatting with his friends on Twitch? Is it Firas, who spends his me time after work watching gameplay videos of his favorite game streamer on YouTube? Is it Samira, who makes a living as a top Twitch game streamer and is a full-time supermom? It is each one of them and more. They all share something in common. The Gamer Code. MENA game streamers make up for 1 in every 5 gamers in the world and is one of the fastest growing gaming communities in the world. So, how can you find your mojo? Conventional gaming campaigns are expensive, do not connect with gamers, are not ROI driven, and cannot scale. And at the same time, there are thousands of game streamers with strong communities who do not find the support of brands to grow. As gamers by passion, we saw light at the end of this tunnel. Enter Stream Shriek, where your brands get to toggle on a creative influence campaign across thousands of game streamers within days. And you get to win the engagement of these gaming communities, support of the biggest streamers, ROI for your campaign, and overall brand love. And how do we do this? We have built a thriving network of 1,000 plus game streamers and their fans who spend endless hours streaming gaming content and are looking to sustain their communities with the support of brands. Combined with our unique technology for the MENA region, we help you find the right games and streamer communities, creative opportunities, and brand spaces within live gameplay, and establish a clutter-breaking presence for your brands. What you walk away with is 100% view-through rate, high CTRs, 2-layer brand safety powered by AI, super detailed reporting, and an audience who loved your unblockable ad and your brand.
Yeah. So I thank you for that, and I look forward to your questions. I also invite all of you guys who want to have anyone who's got interesting technologies, interesting products to have a discussion. I'm more than happy to have that at any point of time. Yeah. Yes, please.
Thank you for your interesting comments. Can you just mention something about e-gamings being included as a competitive sports in Asian Games? Or
So, of course, this is purely on game streaming. Esports is a completely different division, but if you ask my opinion, I'll give you an interesting thing. You know the brand Oakley, which has the shades?
Sunglasses.
Yeah?
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses, yeah.
Yeah.
So Oakley has made its mission of entering gaming to ensure that esports enters Olympics. Right? That's their mission.
Yeah.
So all their communication for the next 4-5 years is to support that goal. So I think if you look at it from that point of view, it's a very realistic thing which is going to happen. Some of these professional gamers actually have conditioning camps. They actually ensure that they're the best physical and mental alertness to play these games. I don't see this as any different than chess, for example, which coincidentally is not in Olympics. But,
So is
yeah.
Oakley going to make goggles for esports? Or
No,
something?
no. So what their communication, their marketing
Okay,
campaigns, their lobbying, because they're based in Washington, they lobby for it and all of that. But they wanna build on that cause to get them in Olympics, esports, and it's a very realistic thing. It's going to
So
happen.
esports are nothing to do with gaming?
No, esports is everything. So gaming is the master umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So esports is the professional sports side of it, where you have professional gamers competing with each other. It's like a sport. It's like IPL, right?
Oh, okay.
And then there is people like all of us who probably play games and want to share our gameplay with everyone. Think of game content and game stream as gully cricket. Think of this as IPL.
Oh, okay.
Both exist. Gully cricket, by the way, makes a lot of money. This makes a lot of money as well. You know, if that explains things.
Okay, thanks.
One last question. I was seeing a slide and there was a mention of 50% females getting into
Yeah,
gaming.
46%.
Which demography are we talking about there? I was just wondering.
This is global data for pandemic, at the pandemic.
During
level.
pandemic.
Yeah, during the
Okay,
pandemic.
all right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which is, by the way, that's a fairly uniform representation around the world. It's not just globally. Even I don't know the data in India right now, but in Great, that's amazing.
Is that for female gender that
Yes,
we're talking about?
yes,
Okay, all
yes,
right. That's
yes.
interesting data.
It is,
Yeah.
it is. And from a brand point of view, and you ask any brand manager, and they would, the most coveted community to target is the female community. It's tough to reach them. Gaming provides you that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not a lopsided division between male and female. Today you go to Facebook, any page, you probably get 70% male and 30% female, and some of those people may not even represented themselves as females, but it's a mix of things, right? So this is a beautiful place to get that.
So which age group, because when we talk about demographic, age also comes as an aspect, right?
Yeah.
So when we say 50, it's considerably a good amount.
Yeah.
So which age group are we? Are the Gen Zs or? the
No, it's
earlier-
not. So-
Yeah?
Again, I don't have absolute data on it, but the fastest growing audience on gaming is actually 26 to 50.
26 to 50?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's
And-
interesting.
And when I'm talking about gaming, I'm talking about PC gaming. That's the data that I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure mobile gaming would have its own numbers. Yeah,
Okay. All right, thank you.
thanks.
Thank you, Aasim, for such a wonderful presentation. I request Ms. Mitali to come on the
Thanks,
stage and present the certificate to Aasim Shaik. Can we have a huge round of applause, please, for Aasim?